We're here today with Valorant's executive producer, Anna Donlon. Anna, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Obviously an exciting time for you guys. But looking back quickly though, I think one of the things I'm most interested in is what has the feedback from the community been since the beta?
Yeah, the beta was overwhelmingly, I don't know, it was just a really exciting time because I think we had a certain expectation of how many people might be interested in the game, and we were kind of getting ready for that, and then we'd see if we could kind of grow interest over time, and then interest on day one was pretty significant for us. So I think beta was equal parts testing out a lot of our theories and making sure that things were kind of stable and looking ready, but then also we got a crash course in what does live service feel like really fast, because we wanted to let as many people in as we could, and as we did, our services started to get fairly strained, and then even just our ability to kind of keep up with player feedback. But I think it's great, right? Because that's what live game is going to feel like. So it definitely got the team a little boot camp in what that would feel like for sure. But the response has been really great. I mean, the things that we thought weren't quite ready, we were validated by the community as not being quite ready. So we got a really good opportunity to prioritize the right work. And the things that we felt were fairly ready, players were really enjoying. So I think it was fantastic for us, honestly.
So does the new map tie into the game mode, or will all maps be playable? All maps will be
available on all modes. With these two modes that we're launching with, that will be the case.
So you're adding these on release. Is this kind of going to be a pattern going forward? Are you going to drip feed content with a map here, an agent there, similar to how Overwatch and Rainbow Six Siege does it?
We're not ready to commit to the exact cadence, because I think the main reason why we don't want to commit to the exact cadence is we kind of need to see how the game balances itself out as players are playing it. We don't want to rush too much content out there as players are trying to learn and master what's there to begin with. But we also know that we need to keep the game fresh, and we need to add new challenges into the gameplay by adding characters or agents and maps in at a regular cadence. So I think what you can expect from us is that those drops will feel significant, and when they happen, they will feel very deliberate. It's not just going to be randomly one day you wake up and there's a new agent's been introduced or a new map's been introduced. It'll be on a fairly specific cadence, and those moments should feel like moments in the game where the game is changing in some significant or substantial way.
And you talked a little bit on Twitter and on your blogs about fixing some of the issues that have kind of been plaguing after the most recent update, most notably hit reg and FPS, and that's all ironed out for release.
Yes, we're never going to say things are perfect, because that's impossible. And a lot of those issues were found by us when we kind of went to scale with closed beta and actually saw, more than just our internal testers playing. But I think what we saw was, we released the closed beta with really, really strong performance. We were really happy with it out of the gate. And then as we were patching the game, things started to degrade over time in a way that I think that we noticed, but we couldn't see until players were playing those patches, and we started noticing it, and then we started quickly triaging how to get back. And I think what we're going to launch the game with is back to what players were experiencing on that first day, if not slightly better. And I think that from patch to patch, that will be a main focus for us, is making sure that those things stay consistent. It was hard though, because as those systems started to degrade, we were also simultaneously prepping the game for launch in a number of other ways. So what's good is that all that work is done now, and so now we can just hyper focus on those core things that we think are integral to the game, and make sure that they don't degrade again the same way they did over the CB. But that was really disappointing for us. Even just in the conversations for launch, those things were we will not launch this game unless we feel like we can get those back to our standard. And I'm really proud of the team, because I feel like they took it so seriously, and they got it back to that. I think players are going to be delighted day one, but I'm also ready for them to find new issues for us to take care of.
So you had quite a broad release date. You gave yourself quite a
summer.
Yeah,
it's like a season.
You'll get it soon. So why now? What made you think that this is when to set the game live?
We've been working on this game for a long time, and we had this date in mind for the past, I'd say 18 months. We had kind of called this shot, and I actually think maybe even the specific date, but definitely the specific kind of first half of June was definitely what we'd set our sights on. But you don't know until the closed beta if you're actually going to be able to do that. We could have shipped a closed beta that was so broken and had so many issues to resolve that it could have taken us 3, 4, 5 months to get ourselves to a place where we felt this level of confidence to launch the game, which is why we gave ourselves such a broad amount of time. It was like, hey, like, I'm not going to say June, because even though it could be June 30th, like, players want, I think players want, especially when they're participating in a closed beta like that, they want some sort of confidence in when the game's coming out. So we tried to keep it broad. But as we were working through it, I saw something in my team. I know you didn't really ask about the work from home thing, but I just kind of want to address it because I saw something in my team during this work from home period that showed me their commitment to our player base. Like, they could have easily come to me and said, Anna, let's give ourselves some time. We said summer, no one's going to be mad if summer means end of August. Like, let's give ourselves that breathing room. But they just kind of doubled down. It was like, no, we said internally June, let's do June.
And has there been any thought about expanding the player choice when it comes to letting people like kind of create the competitive environment they want to play? I've been seeing in the community there's been talks of wanting pick ban phases or knife rounds for attack and defense. Has any of that come up in internal discussion?
I mean, they came up in internal discussion while we were developing the game, for sure. I think what we want to put out there is something that we feel represents the core game, and then we want to understand how players are playing it before we put in extra tools to start, preventing certain types of play from happening or creating that really kind of bespoke environment for competitive play. But I think those are definitely ideas that are on the table, and they're definitely ideas that we're exploring internally.
Your the anti-cheat system that you had during the beta, I know that was quite a hot topic for you guys, but you've recently come out and said, hey, we've got much more when it comes to anti-cheat. Can you go into that a little bit?
Yeah, so anti-cheat is really dependent on cheaters showing up, which is like the hardest part of it, right? Like, we're not going to create an anti-cheat system that is like a defense wall that never lets anybody through, because that's what cheaters are great at. They're great at coming up with new cheats, and that's their job, and our job is to sit on the other side of that, detect them and fight them, and that fight is going to be going on for quite some time. I think some of the things that we were trying to do, with drivers and things like that, were where we saw the easiest access for those cheaters to get through. We were like, well, if we just prevent them from getting that access, then we can, then we can prevent more and more of them from getting in. The problem is that became too invasive on people's systems. And we saw that, and we heard that very quickly. And we were like, you know what, no, we've overstepped for sure. And so we backed off of that, but it's meant we've had to like double down on hardware ID bans and things like that, because we really want to get them out. And cheaters are going to fight. They're going to fight hard. They're not going to give up. So I just think this is a years long battle. Like, I don't think it ever really ends. And we have an entire team sitting doing nothing but this. Like, this is their full-time job. So it's not, I don't know if I'm saying there's going to be new features that are going to come with it, but in terms of like the experience should continue to get better and better the more we learn about how they're trying to attack the game. And we'll be at war on this for forever. I would imagine we'll be at war on this for forever. But you should be seeing less and less of them over time if we're successful.
Something that I've been requested to ask, what's the new name for the
I'm so
top
excited.
rank?
I'm so excited. I'm like, there's always you know what? That leak was like, I didn't even know who put that out there? I don't know. Like, I actually
You don't even know the name for the new rank.
I don't know. I actually, yesterday I was like, we changed it. Like, I didn't even realize we changed it. So I wish I could answer that question for you. I actually don't know. We will all find out together. I'll probably find out right after this interview.
I always enjoy a mystery.
Yeah, I know. That one's a mystery to me too. We liked Valorant because I think like, when we start to, we're teasing the lore right now of the game. I don't think we've gone super deep on it yet. I mean, I know we haven't gone super deep on it yet. Valorant is representative of something, it's a kind of like a way of being. It's like a mark of like, you are of valor. And we felt like it was like, it kind of represented what we think the topmost skill in our game should be, is like you are of valor in that way. But also we understood that just players just didn't, doesn't resonate and it doesn't work. And so we're like, okay, cool. We'll make some changes. We liked it, but it doesn't matter if we like it. It matters if you all like it. So.
Do you have any plans for a console version in the future, or is this going to remain a PC exclusive?
That one's like, I think that's one of the more controversial topics out there that I've seen, and I completely understand why it's controversial internally to our dev team as well. I think what we've kind of said is, so we're prototyping that right now. Like, we are definitely prototyping that right now. But there's a way to play this game, and there's a way to experience this game that we're not entirely sure translates completely to console play. And we really believe that the way this game is meant to be played is at this like hyper, like strong level of competitive integrity. And we worry about players feeling like, someone they're playing against has a competitive advantage because of the system they're playing on. And no matter how much work we do, I don't know if we can ever break that perception. So we need to be really, really cautious about moving forward on those types of platforms. But I do think there's like something to crack there that our team is really excited to crack. And so what we've said is, if we feel like we can deliver this experience on those platforms, we will. Like, we absolutely will. If we feel like we have to compromise on the experience so much so that it doesn't even feel like the same game anymore, then we'll just go make that game and put it on consoles, and we'll have that be something else that we do. But we really want Valorant to stand for a certain type of gameplay and a certain type of experience. And we want that experience to be felt across any platform that it's played on. So it's not a no, for sure. And I think, I've got a bunch of designers who are very, very excited to kind of prove that this is possible for us. But it definitely wasn't the focus out of the gate. And so it's going to be, if we were to do it, it'll definitely be delayed.
Makes a lot of sense. Well, thank you so much for hanging out and chatting with me. It's been great to talk to you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. I'm sorry I didn't give you more on Reyna, but honestly,
well, we'll all enjoy learning her together.
It'll be a fun time for all.
Well, thank you again for joining us, and anyone out there who wants to stay tuned for more Valorant, well, stay tuned to GameSpot.